The gray sky over Spa-Francorchamps looked harmless that morning in 1998. The air was cold but calm, typical for the Ardennes. Mechanics joked, engineers nodded at weather reports that promised a dry race. After all, Spa's unpredictability was legendary, but surely today wouldn't be that day, right? Well, it was, and it would soon become a day Formula One would never forget. As the lights went out, Mika Hakkinen launched cleanly off the line. His McLaren teammate David Coulthard didn't. The car bogged down, spraying water behind him like a wall of mist. Behind them, Schumacher saw an opening. Hill spun his tires, and Villeneuve darted forward. For a split second, everything seemed normal. Then, all hell broke loose. Heading up the steep hill towards Eau Rouge, visibility dropped to nothing. You could barely see the next car, let alone the corner ahead. Coulthard's McLaren snapped sideways, sliding across the track like a 700-horsepower wrecking ball. What followed was carnage. Cars slammed into the barriers, wheels flew off, carbon fiber shattered like glass. In total, 13 cars were destroyed before the first lap was even complete. From the commentary box, the great Murray Walker could hardly believe it. "This is the worst start to a Grand Prix I've ever seen in my life," he gasped. And for once, he wasn't exaggerating. Miraculously, nobody was seriously hurt. But the pit lane looked like a war zone. Mechanics were sprinting, radios screaming, teams frantically preparing spare cars for the restart. The race hadn't even truly begun, and already it had entered legend. After nearly an hour of chaos and cleanup, just 18 cars lined up for the restart. Damon Hill, the 1996 world champion, was eager to redeem himself after losing ground at the start. When the lights went out again, he seized the moment, diving down the inside at La Source and passing both McLarens in a single daring move. The Jordan team, usually an underdog, suddenly found itself in the spotlight. But for Mika Hakkinen, the man on pole, the nightmare continued. He spun at turn 1, got hit by Johnny Herbert's Sauber, and both were out immediately. The safety car returned, and the paddock collectively sighed. This was going to be a long afternoon. Coulthard, meanwhile, was trying to survive. After the restart, he slid wide and ended up in the gravel but managed to rejoin at the back. Up front, Schumacher was doing what Schumacher did best, making the impossible look easy. In torrential rain, he was on another planet. His Ferrari glided through the mist, closing in on Hill with frightening precision. When he finally made the pass at the bus stop chicane, it wasn't just a move, it was domination. Within a few laps, he'd built a 30-second lead. But Formula One, as always, had other plans. On lap 26, Coulthard found himself being lapped. His McLaren, still nursing damage, was crawling compared to the leaders. Schumacher closed in fast, too fast. He waved his hand in frustration, demanding space, but the spray was so thick he couldn't see a thing. Then disaster. Schumacher clipped the rear of Coulthard's car. The Ferrari's front wing exploded and his suspension folded instantly. In a blink, his race, and possibly the championship, was gone. The world watched as Schumacher limped back to the pits, smoke pouring from the nose of his car. When he stopped, he hurled the steering wheel, jumped out, and marched straight to the McLaren garage. His rage was volcanic. Inside, he confronted Coulthard, who still had his helmet on. Words turned into shouting nearly into a fight. Both teams had to physically separate the drivers. Later, Coulthard said Schumacher accused him of trying to kill him. It was pure, unfiltered Formula One drama, the kind of moment that defines legends and villains alike. While the storm brewed in the pits, Damon Hill stayed calm. He'd been through chaos before, but now he was leading again, with Michael's younger brother, Ralf Schumacher, right behind him. For the Jordan team, this was uncharted territory. They had never won a race, never even finished one too. Now, they were staring at history. But there was a problem. Ralf was faster, much faster. He wanted to attack. Hill, the veteran, knew that if they fought, they could lose everything. "If we race each other, we might end up with nothing," Hill said over the radio. "It's up to Eddie. You have to decide." Eddie Jordan hesitated. Every second felt like an eternity. The decision wasn't just about team orders, it was about pride, about loyalty, about keeping two ambitious drivers from destroying each other. Finally, the call came. "Ralph, you cannot overtake Damon. That's a team order." Ralph's response was ice cold. "Yes, Sam." And just like that, the race found its ending. Hill led Ralph home in one of the most unlikely finishes in Formula One history. Jordan Grand Prix, a small private team with a yellow car and big dreams, had just won its first race, and with a 1-2 finish, no less. The paddock erupted. Eddie Jordan danced in the rain, arms flailing, tears in his eyes. It was one of the most joyous celebrations ever seen in the sport. But even that joy came with tension. Michael Schumacher, still seething, crashed Jordan's post-race party, declaring that his brother would never drive for the team again. And he was right. Ralph left for Williams the following year. For Damon Hill, though, this was redemption. The world champion everyone had written off after his fall from grace had climbed back to the top, if only for one more shining moment. Spa 1998 wasn't just a race. It was chaos, heroism, heartbreak, and history rolled into 44 laps. Out of 22 starters, only 8 crossed the finish line. Every other car was wrecked, broken, or beaten by the storm. And beyond the results, it reshaped Formula One itself. The FIA introduced stricter regulations for wet weather starts, refined visibility rules, and encouraged new safety protocols for pit lane and restarts. Teams became more cautious, drivers more aware. The Wild West of the 90s was slowly being tamed. Yet, for fans, that race remains a perfect time capsule, a reminder of when Formula One was raw, unpredictable, and terrifyingly human. Drivers like Schumacher and Hill were gladiators, not just athletes. Every corner was a gamble, every lap a risk. And maybe that's why Spa 98 still lives in the minds of fans and commentators alike. It wasn't polished, it wasn't safe. It was chaos, glorious cinematic chaos, the kind that makes legends eternal. In the years that followed, Spa continued to produce drama, but never like that day. Modern F1 has traded that raw danger for precision and control. Races can be paused for hours, even canceled, for conditions far tamer than those drivers faced that afternoon. It's safer, yes, but some would say a little less alive. Still, Spa 1998 stands as a monument to everything that makes motorsport what it is. Courage, failure, fury, and fate. And whether you're a lifelong fan or just discovering the sport, it's impossible to watch that race and not feel something deep inside. Because that's the thing about chaos. It's unforgettable. So the next time you see a red flag, a restart, or a wet track at Spa, remember 1998. The day the rain turned heroes into mortals and a small team into legends.
The day Formula One changed forever.